Oh, hello, y'all. It is High Priestess Jamila. Happy witching hour to y'all. And I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I have only done 3 readings. I'm working on these shamanic readings. And I got to tell you, I am already just floored by what I've seen already. I've read for the Aries, the Taurus, and the Cancer so far. Um, and I'm just like, wow. And so I wanted to come in. I wanted to take a break while I charge my phone up because I'm going to be putting up those readings to TikTok. Just by the way, um, if you don't follow me on TikTok until TikTok gets banned in the US, um, and thank the goddess we can automatically download our videos and re-upload them other places on TikTok. But so I felt like talking a little bit, just airing out some stuff, and I wanted to talk about how the Generation X um, is coming out of, some of us are breaking free of the false realities created. And, the way I look at a false reality is any kind of reality that's being created around you in your life that does not serve you and that you don't like. So if it's something that you don't like or agree with, then it's false. Simple as that. And if you ended up somehow the black sheep of the family, or just a black sheep, doesn't necessarily mean that it has roots in your family, but it could. And it's very evil and cruel. So if you're the black sheep of the family, what you are essentially is the slave. And it doesn't matter what race you are. So we're not talking about slavery and racism. No, we are talking about your existence in this world was merely to serve someone else. And some of you guys came into situations like that, to where, you were, looked at sort of primarily as a slave that is just meant to serve other people. And anything else outside of that role was discounted because you had to do this, you had to do that. There were certain roles and duties that you had to play. And I got to tell you that it's not done by accident. Somebody, especially if you're dealing with family, somebody has a strong desire for that to happen to you. And it's just really so sad that that happens, but it does. It's very cruel. I see a lot of you women actually going through that. Men typically don't go through it, but I have seen men that do go through it. But it's primarily and particularly women for some reason that end up the black sheep, to where you cannot fulfill your life because you're supposed to serve someone else, and that's it. And a lot of you guys that went through that within your family, it was for some of the most stupidest, pettiest reasons. But then again, some of the reasons were very major as to why that happened. And, but at the same time, there are situations that exist out there in the world, or that exist in, in our consciousness that we know about, to where your existence to some people is simply as an energy slave, and that's it. Hey, street poet. Hello. And it's plaguing a lot of people. I can honestly tell you that the past 3 or 4 months have been complete and total. Oh my God, I deserve the break, even though I'm still going to be working client cases. I deserve the break from social media because it kind of reared its ugly head in social media. Um, that paradigm of these groups of people who are trapping a person just so that they can be an energetic sacrifice to them. So that happens even in social media because typically people like that have to them, and so then they have to come to social media to find some stranger in social media. Yeah, so it's pretty desperate. um it's been an experience, helping my clients, and it's been frustrating. It's been up and down because I can tell you when those people want your energy, they're coming for it. And when you are in my circle, or either if I'm doing work for you, I can see them and sense them. And even sometimes, well, not anymore, I can't feel them because I've put things into place. Because I'm going to tell you something, it got bad. It got bad and it got real ugly dealing with that, because when those people have chosen their energetic sacrifices, they will try just about anything. They do not care. The life and the life fulfillment and the health and the happiness of the target, these sociopathic people do not give a damn about. They have no empathy for you whatsoever. And the way that's something that's a part of their indoctrination is to not care. It's to not give a damn. It's to treat you exactly as a slave master would treat a slave. You work, you work, you work. I take your energy. You shut up about it. Don't complain about it, or else. Okay. Now, over here at Divine Services Apothecary, um, my spirits, and one of my main ones is Santa Muerta. She came into my life quite a few years back and saved me along with Lilith and Hecate, um, from that. So I know exactly how you guys feel, and they will be very cruel, and they will stick with their regime. Doesn't matter. Okay. So, mainly, what is the purpose? The purpose is possibly feeding off of you sexually, feeding off of you emotionally, feeding off of you mentally. And it's not just that you may have a bad day, because nobody is supposed to have bad days every other day. I've never heard of that. That ain't life, just to have a bad day every other day. Of course, if you grew up that way, that's going to be normal for you. Okay. But in reality, you're not supposed to be on high emotional octane every day or every other day. But so what ends up happening is that scenarios and situations are being created falsely so that you can give give of that emotional energy, because that a lot of them, you know uh, uh you know uh they're like emotional vampires. So you, as the slave, as the so-called, they call it the chosen one. I don't like that term at all, and I completely and totally rebuke that term. Any of the terms that they use, any of them. But that's what they do. And so your life doesn't matter to these people. Okay. Now, I shared with you guys some things that I used to go through growing up. One of them was being sexually assaulted by entities. And when I started my practice, I ended up stopping all of that. But so for some reason, there are a lot of people that are able to have a normal sex life that is very fulfilled and normal with their partner. But then there are some people, for some reason, your sexual energy is sought after all the time. Your sexual energy, your vapor, your juice, whatever you want to call it, your aura. So I realized that the person and who they are and the energies that made them up as they were being developed and coming into this world um, make up whether or not their experience is going to be that or not. And some of us, especially depending on your life path number and just your general energy, you are more susceptible to being fed on. And coincidentally, in the past several years, a lot of you guys is shields. Remember, I was talking to you guys about that auric shield. That's been eaten through, and a lot of you guys, that shield is gone completely. It's not there at all. And we can sit here all day long and talk about how important the chakras are, but what good is your chakras functioning when your auric shield is not communicating with the universe or either the earth? So that's been the problem with a lot of people, including me, which is why I've been rebuilding it and being a lot more protected. Because a lot of us, when we think about protection, we like to think about protection that is outside of us. But and that's important also. But you really need protection not just around the chakras, because of course the chakras can get fed upon. If your chakras are being fed upon, that would mean that you're at an emergency 911 situation. Because if your chakra energy is being compromised, then that means that your health is being compromised, and that means that anything goes at that point. You can be controlled like a zombie or a robot. Okay. So, different people have certain, layers of their auric shield missing. I know that when I initially read mine, I think that it was the last several. I was all the way down to my fifth layer, which was the fourth and the fifth layer of your auric shield is the shield that either attracts energy or repels energy that you don't want or that is harmful to you. So if it gets down to there, then that can be very dangerous, because then, and again, like I said, a lot of people have been throwing around this energy vampirism word that that's the enemy. That's the adversary, because if they can feed off of that, then once they've gotten that, then yeah, they can just be you, because now they're carrying your essence down to that core. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why people do that. A lot of people will say, "Oh, well, I'm an energy vamper," and I'm like, really? Are you sure about that? Like, is that something that you really, is that something that you aspire to be, or did somebody tell you that that was cool to be that? Because I can tell you that that's not good to be that, because psychic vampires have hurt many, many people, including children. They don't care who they feed off of as long as they get fed. And it's just not good. Okay? It's not. I don't necessarily think that they're very successful in feeding off of people at a distance. I think that they would have to have some kind of access to you ultimately, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to try. Okay? But anyway, going back to what I was talking about with as far as being the energetic sacrifice and for energy vamps, it's all about your energy. Now, a lot of them were not banking on your energy being attached to spirits that were attacking them, and that was the resistance, was the fact that your energy is not only connected to uh commonly known spirits and deities, but it was also connected to your own personal spirits that may be comprised of your past selves, your other self, right? Your higher self, your other self. So they were not banking on that. You know what I'm saying? And it almost makes me wonder, who are these people, and where did they come from to where they felt the need to feed off of others? But I feel like the answer to that lies within, they're just like us. The only difference is that at some point there was a breaking of that human code within them that made them believe in having to do that. Because again, Lilith always tells me that psychic vampirism is something that was created, and it's not like a vampire that drinks blood. It's very different. Okay. Another thing that I was going to tell you guys about that is that it's not, when you're looking at an emotional vampire, because an emotional vampire is different. They're a lot weaker, in my opinion, than a mental, like a psychic vampire, because an emotional vampire, what they need is to see you down and out. They need to see that. They don't want you to be up. If you're up, they're thinking of ways to bring you down, which make no sense, because who sits around all day trying to figure out somebody else's downfall? That just, to me, again, something is wrong with that, because a normal human person is going to be thinking about the flow and the ebb of flow of life, of their own life. They're going to be focused on their own path and their own fulfillment. But a person that needs to emotionally hurt you, for example, when it comes to your finances or when it comes to your love life, there are a lot of you walking around here. You cannot have love because there's somebody watching, whether or not it's that person in your family or whether or not it's some random person who is emotionally broken, that cannot stand to see other people happy. Even if they are supposed to be in relationships, they will chase you, stalk you, and oh, I'm happy, 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 while chasing and stalking you and trying to manipulate you. And see, I don't run that kind of practice over here. I don't have random people coming to me saying, hey, there's this person that I don't like, and I just want to see them very unhappy. So please follow them around and manipulate their life. And you know what I'm saying? Try to make things as difficult for them as possible. Watch them, um, and set them up and do all of these horrible things. I don't attract those kind of people. Okay. I attract people that want to live a real life. I attract people that are living a real life. And then I guess it depends on what world or what reality you live in. So there's been quite a bit, not just happening to me, but there's been quite a bit of, what did I put in the title? Street Poet. What's the title of this video? Hold on. God dang it. Romantic awkwardness going on, which comes out in the form of body shaming and just shaming, period. Okay. And when I say romantic awkwardness, the vamps, what they're doing, what they do to their target is they try to make it seem like, and we all know why they're so interested in the love life of their targets. Why are they so interested in your love life? Why? Because they like to feed off of your sexual energy, whether or not you're having sex or not. If you're a woman that is actively having a menstrual cycle, then that's something for them to feed on, because there's a constant cycle that's going on within your body that has something to do with life and creation. If you're a man, your body is constantly producing sperm. So that's why and they don't, and if you're in a romantic relationship with someone, that energy is being given and received from your partner. So this is the reason why they want you single. This is the reason why they're chasing and stalking and hawking, contacting people, trying to do separation magic, trying to break you up from that person, trying to make that person not be attracted to you, trying to do all kinds of stuff, saying all kinds of stuff. Oh, you're just not sexy enough. Oh, you're just not this. You're just not that. In reality, it's their desperate and desolate and destitute way of trying to feed off of you energetically. So you truly have to protect your energy out here. One of the first signs is body shaming. They want to make you feel awkward about yourself. They want to make you feel some type of way about yourself. Okay. So, when in reality, there's a lot of you guys, there's nothing wrong with your body. And, especially older women, and older women, if you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s, you're not old. All of the body shaming and things of that nature, age shaming, is for the sole purpose of energy harvesting. All of it is. Because when a woman hits the age of 40, she's blossomed. Okay. You get about the age of 35, you blossom. And they don't, and you know what, when that happens to you, that's when the feeding really starts. And so a lot of women wonder, why am I all of a sudden in my 30s being shamed because of my age? And it is because they want to feed off of you. Okay? And instead of you thinking that it's something wrong with you, you need to realize that it's something amazing and something special happening, and those people want it. Maybe they're trying to feed and sustain their own lives or life force. I don't understand it, because I personally get my energy from the sun and the moon. Okay. My ruling planet is the moon, because I'm a Cancer. Then my ascending sign is a Leo. So, that part. And I guess that could be argued, because a lot of people are going by the 13th sign astrology, but my spirits didn't want me to do it. They didn't want me to do it that way. They prefer for me to do it this way. Okay. And I think that astrology definitely does have some validity. It has a lot of validity, actually, because it goes off in accordance to what constellation was in the sky when you were born. Okay. So we've got a long history with astrology that I personally can feel, say that I vouch for it. Okay. Sorry, I'm eating, y'all, at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, what do you do about it? I'm gonna tell you one thing. One dynamic that I've noticed is women, and you may have older children. A lot of you women, by the time you get up to be my age, you're in this mode to where you're very bitter and negative, and the expectation is for you to just be alone, and if and without a partner, because all of a sudden you're too old. I'm here to tell you to not fall for that. It's a mind trap. I don't fall for people's crud anyway. Like, if somebody's saying something evil to me, I don't give a damn about what they talking about, because my mind over there is my will over there, so it don't matter. But it's just the point that this type of dysfunction is being pushed around a lot, and it's very dysfunctional. It is. It's very dysfunctional. So, the readings that I'm doing on TikTok, we're going to be looking at who is manipulating you. And a lot of these people, they don't even work. They don't even work or contribute anything or run a business. They just sit around all day, and that they feel like that's their job, but it's actually not their job. I mean, got to be careful. If y'all don't follow me on TikTok, you might want to follow me on there, so you can catch those readings that I'm doing. I'm going to be honest with you. I think for the balance of the world to be so messed up, I feel like the key answer to it at the core is shamanism, but I feel like all of those crazy paradigms and realities that got created, that drives the social, that drives, society, were somehow created by shamans, because people are knee deep in it and they don't even see their way out. Okay. And I think that it's very narcissistic, because those people are manipulating you, and then also at the same time, you know trying to emotionally do damage to you for something that has been set up, and it's been put into place for you to go through that. Okay. And they're literally trying to control your emotions and how you feel about yourself and how you look at the world and how you feel about the world. Okay. So y'all need to go take a look at those readings that I did. They're going to be very interesting once I'm done with them. And if you guys want to, y'all can contact me for a reading. Because a lot of y'all, like, if y'all have went through what I went through, you probably look like you about 100 years old. Boy, I got so much hate and shit. I should be looking like I'm 100 years old. But I don't. Okay. I don't know why. The point is why is not important. The why is not important. I mean, we know that they're energy harvesting, or maybe it's people that are really unfulfilled and they want to see you unfulfilled, or, and a lot of you guys are getting with these men that are actually with these weird secret societies. And if you get with one of them around the age of 30 or 40, boy, they just not going to act right. They just not going to be right. And you're going to be able to tell because they're going to stick to their script that they have already to make you feel romantically awkward. A bunch of fake, false outrage. Oh, God, she couldn't possibly, or nobody could possibly want that person. For you men, it's about your money. So I don't, that whole thing where you got people going around calling a man dusty and shit because he don't have a lot of money. That's how men go through it. But it ain't nobody's business if you get with somebody that you're meant to be with, that brings you peace, that you're building with. So it's not about somebody else's opinion, okay? But they've got that particular reality that they've got going on too, okay? And a lot of you men that have went through it, because a lot of people will say it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. That's bullshit. It's about what you know. It's about your wisdom. It ain't about who you know. Because a person that's empowered or has money can lose that overnight. Okay. I'm just saying. And the ones that are typically up to that, they are the loudest in social media, especially. But what they don't realize is that there are certain gods and deities that are looking at them and they are not happy with them because they are falsely creating this stuff and those people have to have that because they feel like on a large scale that they want to feel normal. So that's why they push so hard for those paradoxes. And a lot of you guys will feel overwhelmed. A lot of you guys will feel intimidated, especially if it's somebody in social media that is pushing that agenda that has a lot of viewers. But I can promise you that most people in social media, they do fluff up their views. Okay. I don't do it, but a lot of people do it. Okay. Yamaya, how much do I charge for a court case? It would depend on the case. I don't have a set price for court cases because I don't know anything about it. So that's typically for court cases, I give you a price quote um, during your consultation. Now, I do have what is called a court case blessing potion that I can give you that has a set price of $300. But If you want like a full court case, I'd have to quote that for you. And it depends on the case and what type of case it is. So a lot of you guys, what I've been seeing so far though, for those readings is unfulfillment when it comes to love. But a lot of you guys have been doing certain things that has been bringing things to you, but it's either been non-progressing or either it hasn't been working out. So a lot of y'all do need to work on your love life with that shamanic love work. Okay? And it is a difference. I'm gonna give y'all a scenario too. Um, you notice how in some families or either in some situations to where as soon as the woman meets somebody, everybody's trying to abandon the woman. You notice that even people in your family that want to talk to you, that you know what I'm saying, weirdness like that. That's a dysfunction. That's a dysfunctional family for your family to expect for you to be alone and then shaming you for being a sexual person and then trying to close off your chakras, causing heart problems, causing anxiety, causing fibroid tumors. Mm. You're gonna have to Maya, try not to post too much of your personal stuff in here, but you're gonna have to schedule a reading for that, girl. Mm. Go ahead and schedule a reading. I can tell you that just judging by that, it's not gonna be cheap and it's not gonna be easy. And depending on what my spirits think about the situation, once we read it, because I don't just take every case like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't just take every single case that comes to me. Readings are how much are my readings? For a 30-minute reading, it's 55. For a 1 hour reading, it's 110. So my readings and my consultations that do have a reading included, that's pretty much what I'm doing the whole time, is reading the situation, documenting everything. It's the same. Okay. The same price. So anyway, so it's very dysfunctional. It's very dysfunctional, especially a lot of you mothers out there who spent years and years raising your children, and when you get older, you've been sitting there and you have wanted love in your life, and everybody just expects for you to be alone and to serve everybody else. That's very dysfunctional. You can't, why wouldn't you be able to function as a normal person for those people and do what you want to do for those people? Why do you have to be alone? But why would you have to be alone in that? Why don't they want you to have a support system? Why don't they want you to have a place to go? Which that to me, even though, like I said, within your relationship, y'all gonna go through sometimes, sometimes in your relationship, you're gonna have those little lover things to where, hopefully y'all can be patient through that. But your relationship is supposed to be a place and a space where you can go for peace and release. That's what the sex is for. So I don't understand Why these people are expecting your life to be a total dysfunction and then trying to talk to you like you're some kind of aardvark, or or you're some kind of alien or something. And there's no way that that could have a presence in your life. Oh, Yamaya, you can use my PayPal, hon. Go to divineservicesapothecary.com and click on either the 30-minute or the hour. And I'm gonna tell you, for a consultation, I prefer for you to do an hour. And people usually end up purchasing an additional 30 minutes anyway, because that 30 minutes is gonna go by really fast. But you can click on it's gonna take you to my link tree, and where you can click on the thing that you want to buy, and then you can pay through PayPal. If you don't have PayPal, then you'll have to text me and I'll give you my Venmo information. Okay. And then what we can do is we can just get together on WhatsApp. Okay. Hey, Andrea, 54 Hector. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. So, that's very dysfunctional when you think about it, though, because when you look around at this world, there are people that go to bingo night and they're 60 and 70 years old, and they meet people in their 60s and 70s. So what is up with this whole thing, to where there's people being targeted in their 30s and 40s and being told that they're too old and something is wrong with them? Y'all got to think how strange and off that is for that to be happening. Now, I will tell you that I know for a fact that some of you guys have went through that romantic awkwardness your whole life, and that is considered to be sexual abuse. I've seen it happen. Actually, I've witnessed it happen. Either the males or the females in your family, once you start developing and going through puberty, they're shaming you and making comments and affirmations and trying to speak prophecy over your love life in the future. And they're basing this on what? They're basing that on their own bitterness. They're basing it on their own perversions, because why are they thinking about your love and sex life anyway? Why would they even be thinking about that? Okay. Why? So a lot of you guys kind of grew up like that, to where, your sexual existence was put out on the front line to be mocked during very early development, to where you should have had your mother and your father supporting you and taking a more healthier approach to that. Instead, what they were trying to do was shut down your love life before it even started, or when it started to blossom. They were trying to shut it down. And it's a fact that that is abuse, especially if it's an obviously abusive family dynamic, to where you're being denied love already. You're being denied that love. You're being told that you're not good enough. It's not opening. You said it's not opening. Hold on a minute. It should be. Give me a second. Yeah, when you put in divineservicesapothecary.com, it's gonna take you straight to my link tree, but I'll give you the direct link to the 1 hour reading. Okay. And if you want the 30-minute one, just let me know. Okay, and we can start there. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Sorry, my internet was going out. You got to stop accepting that as gospel. Yamaya, if you didn't hear what I said, because for some reason this thing is just going VPN and off VPN, because I have a VPN on my phone, whatever web that I connect to, whatever connection I have. And it kind of does like this wave sometimes, like it just keeps going. All right, there you go. Um, what time is it over there in Africa? I wonder, because I'm gonna be up until about 7 or 8, so I can go ahead and when I get off of here, I can go ahead and schedule you if now would be good for you. Okay, because I don't have anybody else scheduled at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get you scheduled. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Like a lot of y'all need to realize that it is a sort of like a systematic prison. It's like a systematic prison for you guys, and sometimes you'll even notice that the entire family will function that way, and it can make it extremely difficult. um and I'm gonna tell you something, it's depressed a lot of people, it because it just feels like, you get treated like you're just, you are not human. It's very dehumanizing. It is. It's very dehumanizing because you're being treated like, well, you're just supposed to serve our purpose. And so when you go back, to certain things that happen in America, it's almost like, even if you were, that's why a lot of people end up eloping. You end up eloping with people because nobody around you will accept you being involved with somebody. Nobody, and it's just this thing to where it's like, and so there is a way to break those generational curses. And I wouldn't even say it's a generational curse, but it kind of is, because when you think about the level of depravity that has to go into that even being needed, why do these people need for you to be single and alone? Why? Well, number one, they automatically assume that being alone is going to make you feel weaker. So that's what's at the top of that. But I've actually had women come to me and they've been very upset and very paranoid about it, because they're almost thinking, my gosh, why are these people so desperate for me to be alone? Are they planning on, running up in my house and ending my life, and they don't want to have to fight with a man that may be protecting this woman? And, so I've had to talk women off of that ledge and like, no, and even if that was the case, we have a way to protect you from that kind of violence. Uh, but it makes you wonder what is going on. And it is very secretive. They're not going to tell you, hey, we've got plans for this person. And the next thing you know, because a lot of people, their response to it, especially if it's been happening your entire life, you all kinds of messed up. And then especially if they've been doing spiritual work on you, putting spirits in you, doing certain things, setting you up with these men who are essentially a part of that paradigm that was created. It's very weird. Like I told y'all, some of y'all, it has a lot to do with the evil eye hate. Maybe your mother, maybe there was somebody that hated your mother. Maybe there was, maybe it had something to do with money. You were supposed to be the sacrifice that, something happens to, and then they got $100,000 life insurance sitting there waiting for you, and nobody would ever even know it. I see that a lot. Y'all wouldn't believe what I be seeing in y'all in these readings that I be doing for people. Now, I'm not gonna say that I see it if I don't see it. Okay. I'm very ethical and I'm about my business. Okay. I stand on business. So I don't make up nothing. When I see it, I see it, and it's really an outrage, because a lot of you, there are so many people out there dying and being murdered for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Even if it's for $100,000, that is so petty to think that somebody would lose their life over 100 grand to go to people that have plotted and schemed. And yes, I have seen them take people out for this little bit of money, this little small amount of money that people there's a lot of people out there that will make that in 3 months, 100 grand. And these people that got this whole lower vibratory system set up for them to do this lower vibratory thing, and you're supposed to just, you're like, well, I'm gonna sacrifice myself like Jesus did, and I'll just go. And they do have some people beaten down and downtrodden like that. They have some people that just do not have any value or love for themselves, and that's that's the whole point of them being very verbally abusive to you and not uplifting to you. That's the whole purpose of them doing that, because they want to, and a lot of them feel as though if they repeat the same thing over and over again, you're nothing. Nobody in this world wants you. Everybody in this world hates you. They believe in their heart of hearts that they have that power over you, and they do have power over some people. Somebody keeps saying that to you over and over again. After a while, even if you are strong minded enough to feel differently, it still can have a negative effect. So people like that are doing stuff like that, when Divine Services Apothecary catches wind of it and you guys come and become a client of mine, then a lot of y'all can be rest assured that that particular plot is over. And it doesn't matter. They can say, well, this person that I know, I got a lot of connections and da 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 da. And some of them do have connections that are very, very scary and fucked up. But you know what? This is when you have to say, am I going to look at this person over here as God, or am I going to look at God? Am I going to actually look to God, or am I going to sit up here and think that this human flesh and blood person who is claiming that they're God, but yet they need my life? They need me to survive. They need me to die or be single for them to live. And you supposed to believe that that's God's energy. You just supposed to sit there and believe that that person is powerful. And there's a lot of people that do for some reason. And I think it's because they have lowered expectations when it comes to God. They're always trying to relate God to man. And it's not the same. God is not man. God is a higher aspect that created man, but God does not need any of us. He could come and wipe this whole planet out if he wanted to, or she wanted to. Your number ain't on WhatsApp. It should be under 770-686-7461. And you'll want to go ahead and place the order. I don't think I've seen it come through yet. You'll want to go ahead and place the order, and then you can connect with me on WhatsApp. But my WhatsApp, and you can do that now if you like. My WhatsApp should be under 770-686-7461. Okay. So a lot of people feel very powerless to that for some reason, and you shouldn't. But then again, if someone else has been defining God for you for so long, then you think that that's really the words of God. But no, that's the word of man. That's the word of man. Okay, that's not necessarily that. Well, that's not God at all. Because in reality, this person that either needs you for your life insurance policy, they're not even close to God, you know? So it kind of makes you wonder when you look around at the world and you look at all of the dirty things that people are doing for money. And, to me, and I feel like God feels the same way. These things are very unnecessary, but people do it anyway. And when you look at people that maybe at some point in their lives that don't necessarily have a lot of money, but they are good people, and you don't have to necessarily stay that way, because, you can become a very abundant person with fulfillment in life. And people will talk about you because you don't have the freshest pair of boots, the latest fashion boots. But in reality, you know what? You can get those things. It may take a little while longer, but at least you're not putting some innocent child out on the track, right? Because they're willing to do anything to get that money so that they can buy something. You know what I mean? And there are some people that are willing to work diligently to achieve their goals. Okay. So anyway, be careful with that. I kind of went off on the deep end a little bit just now, but all in all, when it comes to that psychic vampirism thing, when they're feeding off of you energetically, that is the main proponent that you want to look at. And first of all, they're in very big trouble because there are a lot of people out there that are learning to rebuild their shield, and learning how to protect themselves and calling on these spirits to protect them from people like that. Because that's not fair. You come into this world, the first thing that you want to do when you come into this world is you want to eat. You want to be close to your mama, and you want to eat. Okay. And some people get bottle fed, but some of y'all get fed off of the breast, which is a baby's preference. It's not anything perverted about that. It's just nature, you know. And then also, romanticism and having a romantic partner, that's very much connected to nature. Okay, to the nature of the human. Okay, I mean, if you're a bird or a dog or a cat, things may be different for you, but that is in our nature, is to be loved. And somebody that tells you, hey, you can't be loved and I'm going to destroy that for you because I got to feed off of you, what are you going to do? Are you going to bow down for that? Are you going to submit to that? Because I'd say that you're already dysfunctioning as a human being if you just decide that that's okay and you don't even realize that that's what's happening. Your intuition should be telling you that. And then they will tell you, well, it's not my fault. But they do sit around and try to manipulate you. They do. I've had it happen to me where, folks will send a spirit to me. They'll try to put a spirit on me so that it can attack the people around me. Uh-huh. If you have that shield up, that they can't put that spirit on you. They can't do that. So it's a lot of stuff that we're doing to make sure that those things don't happen, because and they do want you to feel old and ugly and like it's something wrong with you. They don't want you to feel good. They want you to feel awkward. And that's an attack on that's crazy. The people that want you to feel that way, and they are very obsessive about it too. Why do they want you to feel that way? Okay. And it ain't normal for your ex to do that either. Ain't no ex of yours supposed to be running around here making you feel some type of way. A normal ex is going to say, you know what? I love that person. And you know what? I lost that person. And that's it. It's not normal for your ex to run around here, calling you names and stuff and acting a fool for months and months and months. You can pretty much tell if that person was real or not, or if this was just some kind of op or agent that was sent to your life to carry out an agenda against you. Knowing that it was a part of an agenda should help you get over it faster. Or just like, well, that person wasn't real anyway. But how did you develop and catch feelings for this person that proved to not be a real person in your life? Well, you know what? They may have manipulated you in that way too. Hey, Midnight Raven, thank you. Yeah, so, and you know what? It's all about the setup, the trap too. Okay, so a lot of you guys are wondering, how did this happen? And that's crazy for somebody, because for me, I'd rather be living my life and letting other people live. But and so you got to think about the life of a person that's all they do is sit around all day. And how do they actually live a real life? I don't know. I guess that's what they're doing in their reality. You don't have to live that way, because it's somebody for everybody. It's always going to be somebody here to love you. You think that God would send you here having a nature. It is in your nature to be loved and to love somebody else. And you think that God sent you here just so that you can be fed upon by people and mistreated? No, that's not why God sent you here. Okay? That's not why God let you be here. Okay? And nobody deserves that. There's just a lot of evil and cruel people in this world that are misguided, that are very misguided. And, God forbid they get a candle and a feather in their hand. And the next thing you know, they're using esoteric knowledge to just manipulate you all day instead of living their life. Okay. So now I can understand vengeance if you've done something to somebody and it was pretty bad that you did, but it's that's not the case most of the time. Okay. Most of y'all, slaves are unfortunately born every single day. You know, do I think our government has something to do with that? Nope. I think that's more of the private sector. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't think the government would have any interest in that, especially when the government has to make up for it. The government has to take care of these people and these children, as opposed to people having a stronger family dynamic that which they can raise their children and prosper in. So, the government's always complaining about how much they're spending, to help people. And they really ain't complaining about how much they're spending, as far as like, people that need help with food and shelter and stuff like that. But I just have a feeling that it don't have nothing to do with that. I think that it has something to do with some underground private sector of people who, um, you know, I mean, when you think about it, everybody's brain does not function the same way. So that's probably just how those people's brain or their subconscious functions. And that's why they do those kinds of things. Okay. So do y'all catch my drift on that? Anyway, I do, by the way, I do offer shamanic love work to get you out of that. And really, it's not just shamanic love work, but it's also to get you out of that trap, to get you out of that reality. But you don't want to waste it. If you get released from that, you don't want to go into your new reality doing the same thing to other people. It's not necessary for your survival. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When you do escape that reality, they are gunning for you because they're like, wait a minute, where's our slave? Some people will want to keep you single just so that they can make sure that you're there every Thanksgiving or Christmas to bring the Christmas macaroni and cheese. And, if you have a husband and a family and you're at home with your husband and your family, then you can't come to the family gathering to bring your macaroni and cheese. They want that mac and cheese that you can make real good. And you got to stand there because you make good macaroni and cheese. You got to be single the rest of your life. You can't have no husband and no family. You got to make the macaroni and cheese. Some people are that crazy. They got everything set up, and everything kind of revolves around them and what suits them, and you're nothing to them. And they will try to use MK Ultra mind control techniques, and some of y'all have immunities to it, like myself. Like, I'm immune to mind control. I can't be mind controlled. You know what I'm saying? However, if you're around like a person that is on that agenda, repeating those things to you, and they're doing it in a cyclic way to where they'll be normal, but then all of a sudden it's time for them to erect the programming. So then they have to say certain things to you, but and stuff like that will go into the subconscious, okay, because you're searching for love. And it's really sad, because I've seen some of y'all um actually get married to or have children with somebody that is a part of that, and that's really even sadder. That's terrible, because you're a person that just wants genuine love, and that person is a part of some kind of fake programming for some crazy narcissistic people. Like, that's just insane. Like, and but luckily there are normal men out there's normal men and women that exist, that they're like, I don't know I don't have nothing to do with whatever that is, and it just is what it is. So anyway, y'all have a good witching hour. I will see y'all later. And blessings to y'all. Okay, y'all, stop. Don't ever give up on love. Stop giving up on love based upon these liars and these psychopaths, because they're telling you how to cope with those types of energies there, but they're not telling you how to get out of it. They're not telling you how to get out. And that's where it stops. And the reason why is because they want to keep you in that constant cycle of thinking that there's nobody in this world that is actually going to really love you. You see what I'm saying? And then, of course, when you do find somebody, you can't expect for them to not experience emotions, because of course they're going to be watching. That's why there's a lot of people that don't post their people when they finally do meet somebody. I always tell people, don't post it in social media, because they gunning for you. They gonna come for you, and they gonna try to throw the evil eye at you, and that shit ain't no joke. It's the evil eye is made up of a bunch of negative emotions and sadness, and it's just really sad, and it just tears people the hell apart. It's awful. It's terrible. And a lot of people don't know how to deal with that. They don't know how to deal with that. To the point where they like, oh God, everybody is the same. You can't trust nobody. And then that's when somebody needs help. You know what I mean? So, okay, guys, I will see y'all later. Y'all want to schedule a reading with me? You can visit divineservicesapothecary.com, and it'll take you to my link tree. And then that's where you can purchase your consultations. All of my stuff is not on that link tree, but at least the readings are up there, and it's a few things up there, but otherwise, okay. All right, y'all have a good week. Blessings. Bye.